Welcome, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome back to Album Review Saturdays 2025, episode 4. Long way to go. But now we're getting into 2025, but we reserve the right to go back to 2024 should we feel it necessary. And I felt that it was necessary. If you don't know already, this show is an extension of our article section on beyondyourradio.com. I write the stuff there. I put links, little tidbits, but the more enjoyable moments are here at the YouTube version. All right. And Dam joins me again tonight. That's what we do. Welcome again to another album review Saturday 2025. This episode, we are going to explore albums from bands or artists that we have never heard of. However, this show in the extra 3, 2 of them in the extras, we have heard of before, both of us, and I hope you will have too. Whether that's good or not, that remains to be seen. Because new versus old or remember doesn't always mean awesome. Mm-hmm. So, we kick things off. We're going to go back to 2024 with a band that has this riff. They found a dispensing idea of how to get it out there that's a little bit different. I think it's less anxiety and burns more calories of meditation in stonerism. Power trio, they're very thick in the weeds and burning psychedelia with some spice and style that might be reaching an all their own kind of jam. In the middle, we decide to go with a solo artist, his debut, one that has a vocal chop that's definitely all beef and primed for delivery to your heavy audio oversized plate. In fact, I do believe it's on a soundtrack, one of the songs, and I think it was actually Grammy nominated, but I didn't go all in. Not only will you feel it when it hits, you'll have a hint of an after effect as well, like the debris in Twister. Then we go full on crazy because we just love a band that uses pigeon in their name. But we had no idea the country punk out of chaos life closet we opened. No, not Pandora's box, see? Because Pandora, that's a different threatening experience. This is a closet door that when you open it, you're intrigued by what's pummeling you. And so anyway, so on with it. Yeah, let's get the new stuff, giant spins, kudos, and whatever the hell other mess we can figure out.
Yeah.
All right, we start with this swell fellas residuum unknown. First of all, let's give this fine power trio from the origins of Ocean City, Maryland, now living in Nashville because that's where stoner rock lives. I don't think so. But that's what it says on Bandcamp. A well-deserved thunderous applause for a really good band name, the Swell Fellas. Nice. I mean, I, for one, would have given them a spin if I'd seen this in the bin. It would have happened. I got to have it. Swell Fellas. Come on. Plus, the album's name gives me cool, like, goosebumps because, come on, Residuum Unknown. Fear Inoculum. That's kind of where I am, right? You feel good. All right, there, because before I even heard an inch of sound from this stoner rock trio, that was where my head was at, and it was checking all these boxes. Oh, cool name, cool record title. They're, kind of had this status because they were touring with All Them Witches. Now, I love All Them Witches. And anyway, that's where I heard about them, and that's why I went back to 2024. So here we go. So do they have that Tool feel I suspected from the title? Well, there's a decent case for that, but there's a lot more psychedelia going on here. You just feel it off the kickoff. That one of the songs, it's called The Drain. Now, they're not going down the drain, but they kick psychedelic ass. Rough, gruff vocal. There's this minute where the psychedelias go down, and then there's this boo, and then, Jesus, if I was driving my car, I might have swerved off the road. I'm not, maybe not driving. Yeah. So so that's kind of not Tool. That's Swell Fellas. So Deb, you didn't know me either. So
stoner stuff isn't really my thing.
Yeah.
but this album was really complex and layered and um, really like a driving forward feel to it. There's no relaxing during this album, as far as I'm concerned. It's pretty much high energy, but I didn't feel like it was as hard for me to listen to as some of the other ones we have. Um, the way they were described in some of the things I read was they have epic riffery, and I do like that.
Periphery.
Yeah, riffery. And I didn't know what residuum was, so I had to look that up. I
Okay.
didn't know what that meant, and I feel bad that they feel that they're a residue, a substance left behind. But or this is the leftover stuff. I don't know. Maybe where did they get that for this album? Does it
I might
have a
be able to
meaning?
elaborate on that if you
Okay.
want.
Okay, I'll leave that to you. Um, you can tell what some of their influences are: Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Tool, Led Zeppelin. But they asked Connor Poole, he's one of the brothers, right? He's the guitarist.
Hmm.
What's your Desert Island album? And he said, anything Queen of the Stone Age. I'm like, yeah, I want to be on an island with that, but I guess that's why they produce the music they produce. Um,
Take Josh with you. Take Josh
yeah.
home.
So the one thing was there were some moments on these songs, surprisingly nice acoustic measures
Hmm.
that were interesting and leaving me to want more of that because of where I lean in my musical taste. But it was a little sensory overload in certain places, but um it's they're very talented. I mean, I can't say anything bad about them. My taste doesn't decide whether you're good or bad, right?
Right.
I think that this though, this is their last album I read somewhere.
Therein lies the residuum.
Oh, okay. Um, they
At
did
least that's
say,
my thought process. I did
okay.
provide a link in the article
Mm-hmm.
from Obelisk, who is a writer online,
Mm-hmm.
and he or she, I obviously I'm not paying attention to names when I'm reading the article because I had to familiarize myself with a bit of the band. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that article will give you a little bit more information on that, but it's very touched briefly. They go more so is it's about this album. They go
Mm-hmm.
into more detail than I do. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
I think some of these people play instruments. I'm taking it from a sound guy, a guy who just envelops and that's it. Want
Yeah.
me to sing for you? I'll do that, but that's
They did one of the articles that I was reading, they mentioned as far as current bands that they like, and I don't, this sounds so familiar. Did we review a King Buffalo album?
I have reviewed a King Buffalo album. King Buffalo came to Buffalo and we didn't see them that night.
That's right. That's
And
like
yes, they are a
I'm looking.
stoner rock band. They have been
Yep.
compared to King Buffalo for sure.
Okay.
Yes, and yeah, so yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's my take on it. Not my normal thing, but I can certainly appreciate it.
Okay. So in my thing, you got that metal groove growl thing that happened a couple of
Hmm.
times. That was unique. When we get to Pawns Parade, there's a bass line that gives you the Tool inoculum for sure.
Yeah.
However,
Hmm.
if you slightly disengage with this, okay, I want you to understand that like albums like this, there's a pummeling effect for most people. But if
Yes.
you step back from the pummeling, you're going to start to realize, as Deb is in this particular one, because it's not over accentuated, um, there's a lot of shifting, and there's bridge work, and
Hmm.
there's actual improv. It seems to me throughout. Well,
Yeah.
it's small, it's modest improv, but I feel that the band is definitely giving you a greater sense of musicality as well as,
Hmm.
and I love the idea that they keep saying the fact that um, they don't want this to feel like it's anxiety. This should be intense meditation.
Oh, okay. Well, it is.
Intense meditation.
That's interesting because it is tax season, and I'm an accountant, so I need something a little bit more meditative than what they're
Yes.
suggesting
Yeah,
for
this
me.
this is this is Beavis and Butthead kind of. I need TV for my Bible. I just you can't
In a
focus.
good
But
way. In
I
a
can
good
tell you
way.
this though, I was able to focus more with this record than what we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Hmm?
But different in that. The Swell Fellas are way more than just fellas of riff and metal fantastico. But I felt like when I'm listening to this record that it was swelling inside and it wanted to break out.
Mhm.
By the third listen, I feel that the album was like a bladder trying to keep it all in, and here's this residuum, right? So
Yeah.
maybe that explosion. These are three intentful, creative, and heavily motivated progressive metal, rock, riff, stoner guys, and
Mhm.
this is a force majeure that sadly missed in 2024. I think it's funny. I'm gonna go back and look at some of the Twitter lists and stuff and see if they were on there. Um, it doesn't seem to me. I remember a cover though. Somebody had it on there. That's kind of true. I
Okay.
remember the cover. But so my advice on this anxiety readied musical soul that they've got here. My advice: leave the front door open if they're headed to your house. You might want to amp up your electrical draw in your house and slaughter the fatted calf because I think you're going to require a feast of an overindulgent medium rare. And I was hungry for more. What about you? Well, that will require going back to the rest of the catalog because it may be that this was the final album. I don't know why, but something is in jeopardy. But I'm thinking that, maybe perhaps if there's a bit of love and respect and all that, the brothers obviously I don't think hate each other. I'm thinking it's the odd man out. So
Maybe.
you get another bassist and carry
Yeah.
on.
There you
You
go.
got a good name. Why waste it? I
Exactly.
certainly won't be listening to the Pool Brothers. Okay. All right. Just saying. All right. So we move on to this gentleman here, this Alfred Hitchcockian bearded presentation. Let's get into a giant of a debut. Nolan Taylor, he's from basically outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, comes at us with a concept of storytelling that rides right alongside of the huge contemporaries like Bob Dylan and Ron Hawkins. If you don't know Ron Hawkins was in a bit lowest of the low. Wow, how did I not remember that? How
Because
hideous. I will forever beat myself until I remember. So like of lowest of the low. So this has a feel that he believes in, that there's heartbeat, heartbreak, and it all falls in between the cracks of these huge cities. And we in Buffalo ride right along with him because Cincinnati and Buffalo share a kinship of certain things: decline, woes, Super Bowl losses, um, painful playoffs, those kind of things. But we're not known for our triumphs. Our, that's what it boils down. Or our hard work ethic. Damn it, yeah, deal with that,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So Noah Taylor's debut, emotional, bottled up, and throttled out. But like our cracked in the between areas, what will the message kind of break through all this other, or will it be muted by the presence of overbearing, overwritten, popular, pretentious, from blonde, blue-eyed, big city female male vocals and shit like that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. Just really getting into what you were saying. Um, this was a pleasant surprise for me. I mean, like you said, does look like Alfred Hitchcock mixed with Chris Stapleton there. Um, he was
Yes.
uh he was actually a basketball player at Pepperdine, and which I found interesting because I can't tell how tall he is from this photo, but I was surprised what his influences are though. They're not like the Bob Dylan and
No.
no, it's the Grateful Dead. Okay, I get that, but Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Nirvana. He didn't even start playing guitar till he was in high school. Never picked one up till he was in high school. Plays left-handed. Um, this music feels very much like what country music has melded into to become more mainstream. I don't say that this sounds country.
Mhm.
I'm telling you that country sounds like him is what I'm trying to like. to me, I don't find that he's copying anything. I don't feel like he's trying to be something to fit in. He's being himself. The first two songs were really high energy, and it kind of set the tone of who this guy is, how he can write, how he can play. The next couple songs were took a turn nice and soft. Double Life, Holding On, they were very good, but the songs that I really liked, and they reminded me of somebody, and I don't know if you're gonna agree with me, but I liked Wicked Ways, and Everblue had a good whistle at the beginning of it, kind of caught your ear. But those two songs reminded me of the Wallflowers a lot.
My article speaks of Jacob Dylan.
Love it. And I did not read that anywhere. My trained ears
Yes.
came up. But love it. I mean, he keep it up. I mean, I didn't realize this was his debut album, other than I assumed because it was self-titled. Not that that's always the way it goes, but
Oh, it isn't always the way it goes, right? Alice in
no.
Chains self-titled record didn't come till three after three, right? So, or as the third.
Maybe
Yeah,
the
whatever.
third.
I think you're off to a good start when you get I Belong in Your Arms. It's that heartfelt, love-making, easily accessible indie country slow rock, a little bit of pace. It gives us a familiar chord. It gives us a real nice vocal, and the lyrics we can identify with, considering we understand the darkness surrounding our lives, and that physical attachment with somebody is a rush, right? Good. Good opening structure. You got me. One might say that it was a short song. It lasted basically as long as the act itself. So, at least for me. So Nolan carries forth with this indie sensibility of guitar and rhythm, allowing that to be cradled and hold his vocal. And obviously that's an easy thing to do when you're playing all the instruments. All right, so
There
he's in
you go.
charge. Guitar, drum. Apparently I
Well,
couldn't find anything else where he wasn't. So yeah, he didn't pick up a guitar until he could afford one, and that took a long time to afford. He was not
yes.
he was in a poverty stricken position, and
Yep.
kudos to him for rising in and above of that, and not expecting like people do today, expecting things to be just given to him somehow, some way. I want to
Right.
be this, and I'm just going to be that.
Yep.
You can't be what you want to be without sacrifice, hard work, determination, and perhaps being patient.
Yes. Patience is
And
the big thing.
patience.
Nobody has patience
No,
anymore.
patience. Oh, is that a Beatles song? Anyway,
Yeah.
um, so is it going to get to that point where I'm getting the vocal? It's something we've heard before. It has a past and a present quality,
Mhm.
that could be a quarter of a century earlier. This
Yeah.
album, Hootie and the
Yes.
Blowfish kind of thing,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Sentimentality. He has this too, and I think we all kind of figured he would.
Mhm.
The Double Life is the
Yeah.
song that made me think of Jacob Dylan. We
Mm.
all know that we say everything is going to be just fine, but well, as he states, that's not tonight, right? So we have
Mhm.
all been there. And once again, whether you're a fancy millionaire or you're just one of the crew, that's how it's going to be. Truly the best song on the record and a shining example of restrained, capable songwriting. Um, it comes kind of in that area. It's not, maybe it's not the best, but that song, that was where I was at that point. Then another listen in to the rest of the album. I don't know whether I had something else going on, and the second half of the album I kind of tuned out at some point, but that's
Mm.
where I was at Double Life. The only issue is sometimes a vocal needs a subtlety. And the words will hang longer and they'll linger. This album has less instrument to it too. So sometimes Nolan's voice is the one thing making the greatest impact. And sometimes it's making it very bombastic. Not, well, yeah, pretty much bombastically, although I wouldn't say he's overly bombastic. So Holding On is an example of how that song might be a bit impactfully different if he didn't overreach. I'm not stating it's a bad delivery. It's a very good one, but I didn't emotionally feel as attached to it uh, as I wanted, or maybe I was supposed to. And then Love Until We Die might be a little closer to the actuation of what I'm trying to explain. So
Mhm.
a vulnerability beyond the look of it. It needed a quiver in the voice. And sometimes the quiver's not there. And then he just basically, on my next listen, tells me to shut up. All right. Because then he comes at me, and I'm finally really listening to 68. I'm through with you, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm tired of being nice. I just don't have it inside me. I can't take much more shit from you. And I have cut you out of my life. You love me when you need a high. I'm done spending my money on you.
Yes.
68 is the defining moment of this record.
Yes, it is.
68, it drives home what might be the most emotionally vulnerable song on this record. And he delivers it in that bang and not subtle. Although it has his own subtle. He's not subtle, I
Yes.
wouldn't think. If he's losing at the poker table, you may want to back up. I don't know what's going to happen. He might wrestle to the ground and take all your money. But that song, obviously, about his mother, her
Mhm.
addiction, and he'd given up at that point. He knew
Yep.
that she was trying to just use him as a high, and
Yes.
that's no good for anybody. So
Correct.
truly, a remarkable piece, and on the record.
How old is he, Mark?
Don't know. I
I
didn't.
couldn't find very
I'm
much about
assuming he's,
him.
if he was 92, 93, that's Pearl Jam, right? That's that
Yeah.
era. So, I would say probably in his 30s would be my guess. Maybe.
It's interesting with, because I assumed he was a little bit older, not like the normal 20, 21-year-old breaking out, he seems more seasoned, mature as a human being, I would have to say, if this is his first album.
Well, and he's seeing it through.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I'll give you this on the way out, because I'm going to get harsh, I guess.
Mm-mm.
There needs to be a balance struck, and I truly believe that Mr. Taylor has the position and the opportunity to do so. Atlantic Records will hopefully be patient. I know they want it to blow up, and they have a tendency to, like, if you don't, because they're a big group. Beautiful power of sound. The world will always need people like him to gravitate to honest sound, passion, and an audio vulnerability. Here's to the big guy. After his Alfred Hitchcock bearded side shot album cover with a baseball hat, self-titled debut, that I'm starting to understand more and more each time I listen to it. Oh, and I love that whistling little guitar lick thing he did in Wicked
Mhm.
Ways. It's always
Yeah.
nice to know that there's detail in
Yeah.
this as well. And Nola Taylor could be the next very, very big thing, I think.
Agreed.
This mess here, Crazy Arms by Pigeon Pit. We love Pigeon. I love a band that puts Pigeon in their name. I don't know why.
And Pitt.
Yes, I'm not even, I hate pigeons, really. I don't know why. Crapping everywhere. Okay. So I thought I might have stumbled on out of my wheelhouse. I'm not a raw jangle me off kind of album lover. This is somewhere between a very loose Shakespeare in my butt and a weaker than's that goes a little bit too power pop for me. It has even these spasms that feel like we're on a punk speedway, which going a hint too fast for my enjoyment. I mean, can you really survive a head bobbing situation in a live show where it just keeps going like this? Post-concussion protocol, people. A referee is going to be calling me in, going, time out on this guy, bring him into the tent. No, I want to be brought into a tent at a Clutch show. I don't want to be brought into a tent at a jangle pop, power pop thing. Crazy Arms is the sound of a band hitting their stride, comfortable in chaos, letting you know you aren't alone. I'm not going to remember who I am if I keep this pace up. This is reserved for death metal and Metallica like pace. What I did catch, though, was that wonderful moment where they do the song. Was it Stone Song? Stone
Okay.
Song gave me a minute to go, wow, they can write.
Meet me after school. Take me to the swimming pool. Our bodies gasp for air. Hearts grasping at something that just isn't there.
I can hear. I don't have to try to keep pace. It
Yes.
was well delivered. Some of this is delivered in a very raw pockets for me. I get jostled around. I lose a little bit, but Stone Song was a very well written song. Deb, where were you on Pigeon Pit's Crazy Arms?
Well, in the first place, I had a hard time finding it to be able to listen to it. It wasn't available on Amazon Music. So I'd have to go to Spotify or Pandora, which isn't a big deal, but every time I went to look for it, when it was time for me to start listening to music, I'd skip past this part of my list because I was listening. So I didn't give it as much of a listen as I did the other 5 albums that we're doing today.
Mhm.
Um, and that's not the only reason though. So when I did find it, I wasn't impressed. I really didn't understand what they were trying to get at. I couldn't even like take the time to try to maybe delve into it deep enough to figure out what they were throwing at me. Supposedly they like to write and sing about identity and heartbreak. I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
I
I
guess
couldn't,
Heartbreak for me doesn't go at a pace of 99.
I guess the other
Unless you have to go to the bathroom and you're just breaking it off really fast because you got to run to go to the bathroom. I don't know.
I hate to say that they were horrible because I don't think that
No.
that I'm, you know, versed enough in production and everything else to know that. But I kind of found it funny. They listed a couple of their influences, Oleander and Springsteen. I went, okay, that's interesting. Maybe that's they seem confused about what they're doing. So maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about them. How many they've had quite a few albums, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah. There's quite a few. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and this let's just put it this way. There's a lot of these albums that you throw at me to listen to during the week, and if I've never heard of them, an album either encourages me to go backwards like you like us to do
Mhm.
or not, and this is a not for me.
Yeah. This was, I mean, I was trying to, first of all, they had this thing about the Weaker Thans on their Bandcamp page. I think it's on the
Hmm.
Bandcamp page. And I love the
Hmm.
Weaker Thans. So, but
Right.
I realized that going back, I don't love them as much,
Oh,
as
interesting.
I
Yeah.
did back then. Ha, ha,
Okay.
ha, Weaker Than. Um, So I just this like I said, Stone Song. That one I played multiple times. Go, wow, why is that there? Well, it seemed just like you could it could have more of that.
Yeah.
It did change a little bit of the tones, the speed changed a little bit here and there, but they mentioned a band called Crass on their band page. I've never heard of Crass, but when it's in all
Wow.
caps, I pretty much know that Crass. I'm like, um,
Their name is screaming at me.
it does seem like they're a devouring kind of force, and
Okay. Hmm.
that's for some people. I watch people on YouTube that enjoy the power pop, and they get into more of this raw power pop
Okay.
and pace, and unfortunately, it's not in my wheelhouse, but it did have that. I would, if I was telling you, I'd go check out the song Stone Song. That's very, very well written. Anyway, so
Yeah.
now we got to go to three extras from this week, and so we're going to start off with the two that we know. So the first one is Superstar at one point back in the late 90s, early
Hmm.
2000s, if I
Early
recall
2000s. Yeah.
correctly. White
Yeah.
Ladder.
Yep.
Actually, let me go just a couple of years back. He had a record that was on my best albums of probably it was either 21 or 22. And this is um, I almost said Daniel Craig.
David
David
Gray.
Gray. This is Dear Life. And what I'm gonna say here, my Sting has done this too, where I I started to think that maybe there's three things that could possibly be going on as to why I don't like this album very much. One, the first thing is the actual album itself. It's done in a soul computer track, drum machine, club beat, or soul beat track. This is stuff I've heard in the background before. Remember Sting did an album that had like a Spanish kind of flair to it, and
Oh yeah,
it felt like it was a Spanish club thing in the background.
yeah.
No, is there any? I know that there are probably people playing an instrument, but it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't have any
Mm-mm.
depth, and it's like if you again, I'll take this again, like I do sometimes. If I remove the track, is the vocal good? No. If I remove the vocal, do I care about the music behind it? No.
Mhm.
And this man used to write better than this, I think. At least that's how I remember. Now, our boy Andy Edwards does
Yeah,
not liketh uh,
he
Mr.
does
Gray.
it.
Finds him boring. Well, I can tell you that this album, I am 100% behind you. This is boring and uneventful in all kinds of musicianship. There are a couple of clever sentences and structures that are interesting, but I fell off. Deb, how are you with Mr. Gray?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was disappointed.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
okay.
one of my favorite movies of all time is Serendipity, and he did the song January Rain for that movie. That's what I know of him. I know that he was a great influence for people like Adele and Ed Sheeran. And this album, I've heard one song that maybe I could picture Ed Sheeran going, "Oh, that's pretty good." And that was that Eyes Made Rain or
Yes,
my, yes,
Eyes
that
Made
one.
Rain.
That
Yes.
Like a game, so our eyes made rain. Our eyes made rain. Our eyes made rain.
that was an Ed Sheeran type feel to it. I didn't feel any real Adele-ness to it that she would have gotten from him in this album. I hope if Adele had gotten him early on from this album, he wouldn't be one of her influences.
No,
So, I'm
no.
just the production of it, and like I said, I don't know production and all that, but for me to say it sounded not well put together and something was like cloudy in places and
Yes. Well, that's what I mean by
is
it
is
felt
that
like
a
it.
word?
Yeah, like there was nobody present when he did the singing. He was
Mhm.
singing over a track, right? And his
Yeah.
connection, or either that or reverse. The musicians came in and went, what?
Yeah. I mean, for him to be influenced by the people that he's influenced and the people he has influenced, this is really probably pretty far down on his musical resume as far
Yeah.
as trying
Skellig
to get a
was
nudge. Yeah.
Skellig was a very, very good record, kind of maritime-ish, and he had something up and down the register and emotional.
Mhm.
This is
Yeah.
almost just like a karaoke placid
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like
Flat.
like I
Very
was
flat.
supposed to be more into the groove, the slow groove, and you know what? I'll put a Mary J. Blige record on if that's what I want. I guess
Yeah,
no
exactly.
disrespect to Mary
Exactly.
J. But
No, no, but she
hey,
does it well
right.
too.
And why we're disrespecting people, let's
Oh,
go to our next artist.
oh no. No.
Uh,
Oh, Mark.
so you kind of sometimes you go to the well one too many times. This is Busta Rhymes, Dragon Season, The Awakening. Okay, so I've seen it on on certain comments too. Okay, it sucks. Anyone to say otherwise is a denialist. If this is, and I didn't even remember this because in 2012, Busta Rhymes was a way distant memory. He had a album called Year of the Dragon. Should probably check, was 2012 even a Year of the Dragon? But I'm trying to, I don't think the word we're searching for is dragon. I think the word we're searching for is MILF. And it seems like anything that he's talking about has everything to do with, distastefully possessing that particular thing. And for lack of a better term, that's all. I was so the beats don't matter. The lyrical manifestation of this man should be singing about couches and setting a cat on fire with a blunt that he rolled from a carpet from Target. Okay, that's what he should be doing, and that's what he didn't do on this record. Dab, maybe you had a different opinion.
Well, I want to say something nice about him first.
Okay.
Okay. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Okay.
He for singing the most syllables in 1 second freestyle rapping. How like crazy.
Yes, he has that. Yeah.
I know. And he was named, his nickname is from George Buster Rhymes from the University of Oklahoma. He was a halfback. I like that too. I never knew that. But yeah, all you need to do, everyone, if just listen to the first line of the first song, and
You're
that's the whole shut the fuck up when I'm talking, bitch.
Yeah.
And that's it. I went like this. I went, and you want me to continue listening to your filthy mouth? That aside,
Hey, let me in. Please put your hands up in the air. Stretch them shits high. Touch the ceiling. Now, please.
as a prime example of besides that of why I don't like this album, listen to National Treasure. There's this R&B feel that's layered with him over the top, singing over the top, or rapping or talking over the top, and it's really confusing. I kept thinking, is somebody playing some other music behind me? And then I'm listening to his album. That's what I felt like. I felt like there were two separate things going on. I had something in this ear and something in this ear, and they didn't mesh.
No.
No. So sorry, Busta, but
Yeah, and several years ago he did Extinction Level Event Part 2 that kind of threw us all back into that mode where he was doing his thing, and and this is doing somebody, not doing his thing. I don't just no. And it's an EP, and
yes.
is it part 1? It said. Did it
I
say
don't
that?
think so. Did it? Oh no, I didn't.
There won't
I
be.
didn't-
I can assure you, people, there will not be part 2, and any of this will not be partaken. This might be the beautiful end, my friend.
Aw.
I know what you're thinking. But hey, on that note, what a wonderful segue, because you got popular songs, right? And he had popular songs that were on radio, and in and around that time, there was this catchy little song that everybody just couldn't get enough. I was played at every wedding, and every time it came on, I couldn't believe that people were flocking to the dance floor for it. And it was called "Who Let the Dogs Out."
Ooh, ooh.
Ooh. So I don't know why on earth I don't know why a band would name their album "Who Let the Dogs Out."
It caught your attention.
It did. Ta-da! Well done, marketing genius. Yes. So from Brighton, England, the Lambrini Girls. And if you thought it was going to be that kind of album, you're wrong.
The capitalist system makes the people think they're thinking when in fact they are not thinking. The fruits of the labor of the toiling masses are enjoyed by those who do not labor. I want to see all of these people throughout the world.
Hugo wants to be a rock star, smashing up 5 grand guitars. His dad works for Sony.
It ain't like that. I would say that "Who Let the Dogs Out" is a female kick in the male groin, courtesy of what happens to, like, albums of Busta Rhymes that we just did, as to why they're that pissed. This is what this is.
Yeah.
This is punk rock, in your face, post-punk, and 30 minutes is all they need. These fine females of musical mayhem. You see, they're living in chaos a little bit more than Crazy Arms,
Yeah.
for me. So I'll let Deb kick us off.
Well, it's not kind of punk I enjoy normally. It's old school angry punk. It's raw punk from like the very first time my ears ever heard punk, and I was coming off of loving Billy Joel. Okay. So put it like to that extreme. Not that it's bad. There's something about old school punk. It's very nostalgic to me. I obviously have grown into a little bit more of the softer punk, like, the White Stripes and Green Day and Beastie Boys, something that's a little bit more accessible for me. But in the vein of old school punk, they are all about the issues. If you can stop and listen to what they're talking about, and in fact, you don't even need to do that at first. Read the names of the songs. Then you'll be like, I got to hear the words to this. They're known to be singing about gentrification and nepotism, harassment in the workplace. And one of the songs is called Big Dick Energy.
Big dick energy. How big is that dick in reality? It's not big dick energy. Oh my God, you think you're absolutely everything.
Okay.
Yes. Kick-ass song.
No homo. Filthy
Yes.
rich nepo. I mean, this, even though it's not my style, this is in the vein of what punk was meant to be. And they're good.
Yes.
And it did. I listened to it 4 times, Mark, because I kept saying, there's got to be something here. They're deep. You don't think they're going to be deep because at first you're just hit with, but clever, very
Yes.
clever.
Yes.
And yeah, they were singing to Busta. You're right.
They were singing to, yes, they were singing to every filth rich Nepo baby they could find. All right. Yes, that is one of the songs. I didn't make that up. So if you remember from last year, if you follow us, all 37 of you, no, there's 197 now. Oh man, whatever.
That's almost double.
Hey, by the time I'm 75, we'll finally be monetized. So not that we care. The idea here that really strikes me is that early albums, it's hard to catch people's attention. They're still dealing with the past. And this reminds me of the Sprints. Okay, not in that this is heavier punk. This is in your face. This is kick to the groin. Yeah. But I'm still thinking the live show, man. I wouldn't survive, but I gotta go. And I definitely will not be bringing my Harvey Weinstein outfit. I will definitely want to taper it down a bit.
You're Harvey and Corky.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, if this was your best feature, you lead with it too. No, that's not, they definitely want to, oh yeah. Yeah, their last song on the album, it says it all, and it's they're teaching you in class 101. I won't tell you the name of the class because it might get banned on YouTube, and I don't want to be banned.
Okay, don't get
But
banned.
this is a band that shouldn't be banned. They should band together with a bunch of other people like Courtney Love and go on a musical tour and riff their way all the way through the US. Don't just stay in the UK. All right. Because again, UK likes that club and get over here. We love our punk. Start off in New York City, go around there, get yourself engaged, and they'll love it. And then
that lead singer has quite the voice, man.
Oh yeah.
She personifies.
Yes. And she's got a good name, Phoebe Lunny.
There you go.
Lunny. Yeah. She's not Lenny. She's Lunny.
Lunny. Sounds tough.
Yes.
She kicked my ass.
There you go. She's lead vocal. She does the production. She's got the guitar. What is it? Just her and another gal, Lily Macker. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's two girls,
Sierra
right?
Bosgelmez. Bass,
Oh.
backing vocal. She does some production, but they did their thing. So I enjoyed it immensely. I'm pretty sure that the UK it's doing marvelously well. So that's great, but need to come over here. I know Scotland's got it too. They got it bad for you, but bring it on over here. It's early. Well, so I want to thank Deb for doing this. What did you think of these releases? Let us know, because we always love to hear from you. Like what you like, hate what you hate. I don't care. I didn't write it. And subscribe to the channel. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Yes, articles, videos, podcasts. The podcast had gotta happen soon. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Join me tomorrow when I go bleu.
Oh, bleu. Soccer bleu.
Thanks for watching. Happy listening.
Bye.